My video for November 17th, 2017 is entitled, Waiting to See What Happens in an Insane World. One of my close friends made the following comment, quote, ever since I read your message saying, my quote now, I'm hanging in there waiting to see what happens on a few important fronts, end of my quote, her quote continuing, I've been thinking and thinking of exactly what you meant. End quote. Let me attempt to answer that. What, to me, are the important fronts? Okay. First is restoring my confidence in God by having my multiple prayers answered in regard to my health and well-being issues. Second, I've been anticipating the takedown of the demonic criminals operating as leaders on this prison planet that would be a first step in liberating humanity from our collective enslavement. Third, for nearly a year and a half, I've been waiting for the currency revaluation to become reality, ending the fiasco of fiat currency and the Federal Reserve fraud and empowering honest and loving people to address the poverty and inequality so rampant in our world. Finally, I have prayed since early in my life for the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven on earth. To me, these are all interrelated and necessary to restore sanity in an otherwise insane world. It's interesting how people take comments that have nothing to do with them or us, and we take it personally. I've done it. You've probably done it. We all do it. We all think that we all read into what people say, and our mind chatter goes on and on and on, trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? Is he talking about me? And whatever the situation is, this is the kind of mind chatter that we all experience. I'm sure everybody that's listening to me right now can relate to this because it goes on with all of us. And we live in a world of constant chatter, constant information, and it's being fed into us. And what are we tuning into? Are we tuning into our own mind chatter and trying to find fault with ourselves? Of course, some people, I think, need to find fault with themselves, but most of us are just simply trying to live our lives the best we can. And we're not trying to control other people and do awful things to people. Anyway, restoring confidence in God. I mean, as I've shared many times, I have been praying ever since I began to have physical problems. I've been praying for healing. And I had my stroke. I've had 5 heart attacks. Since I was in the hospital up at Shands in Gainesville, where my operation was, my feet swelled up. Now the swelling has gone down, but the numbness in my feet that was coincident with the putting me in intensive care and the swelling, that numbness has never disappeared. My right foot is like 3 or 4 times probably more numb than my left foot, but both feet have numbness in them. And because of the inequality, I walk with a limp. I mean, there's not a balance in the level of feeling that I have in my feet, and my feet are what carry me when I move from one point to another. And also, I've had repeated heart attacks. I know what they are now. I know how the numbness in my hand and the sweating, I know what they feel like, and I breathe into it till it dissipates. Perhaps at some point, one of them is going to kill me, but that hasn't happened yet. And on occasion, I get dizzy spells where all of a sudden things get dizzy, and it too passes after a short time, but it's confusing and troubling when it does happen. And of course, the takedown of the demonic criminals. I mean, this is a sine qua non, and not without which we have to, if we're going to have a world that survives, we cannot survive as a planet. That is all of us. We cannot survive if these criminals continue to operate their demonic system of control, and that has to be taken down. Label it whatever you want. To me, it's a Zionist thing. It's a money thing. Money is the control grid, but you can label it however you want. But there are dark forces that seem to be in control of the planet. That has to stop. And if it doesn't, we're going to continually be enslaved. Now, I've been promised, or I've been hearing friends talk about a currency revaluation for a long time, but I never got personally involved till I came back from my trip to Australia, which I was gone the entire month of May last year. And when I got back in June, I finally invested in some alternative currency. I'd like to see that revalued, because if it does, it means I'm going to be able to help some of my friends that are having financial issues. I mean, I can survive on my Social Security. I can survive. I not thrive, but as long as I don't have any major thing happen, I'm okay. But there's a lot of my friends that are in deep doo-doo, as they say, and really could use some help with some of their financial issues. The very friend that wrote this letter has issues going on in her family. She lives out west of the Mississippi, and she has major problems that are happening in her family. And these are things that when I communicate with people and I know people on a personal level, I pray for them. And I mean, I'm really concerned because I want to see the suffering end. Not just for my friends, but for all of us. People that I don't know that live in third world countries, and even people that live in first world countries that are being persecuted. I'd like to see that come to an end. And it's not going to end as long as the financial system of fiat currency continues, and as long as the distribution of wealth on the planet goes to the most evil and dark forces instead of those that want to do good things. There's lots of people that would like to help rebuild the impoverished areas around the world. I'm one of them. I'd love to be involved in rebuilding places in Haiti here in the North America. Of course, it's the islands. I'd like to rebuild places in Latin America and places in Africa and places in Asia where people are really struggling just to survive on a day-by-day basis. I can't do things, and neither can other people that have a good heart with good intentions. The people that rule the world don't have good intentions for humanity. They want to eliminate and reduce the world's population and get rid of all the useless eaters, as they've been referred to. Anyway, the kingdom of heaven on earth is something that has been real to me since I was a little boy. I mean, all of my life, there's been a motivation to see that kingdom manifested. Now, I reached a point where I thought it's going to happen by 2011 or 2012. Well, it didn't happen. And I don't buy this pre-tribulation rapture and all that stuff. I don't buy into that on a theological level, although I have friends that do, and people that won't talk to me because that's their game plan and they see me as evil. But I've wanted the kingdom of heaven to actually manifest on earth so that there could be an equilibrium reached in human culture, and blessings could be outpoured on the people that have suffered the most at the hands of, unfortunately, these demon controlled leaders. Folks, these are things that I want to see fixed. I want to see real change happen so that we can all be uplifted. Thank you very much for listening, and again, namaste.